Oh.
Hine ma
Tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Ya la 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 la. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Ya la 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 la. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Shabbat shalom, everybody. My microphone's not on out here. Have you counted? Are we going to still fit? So part of the reason we're out here is so that we can make a game time decision of whether we're going to go into there or if we're going to go into there. But I think we're going to go into there. And so it gives us a little change of pace to light some Shabbat candles in the lobby together. You'll have a chance to light your own candles if you'd like before you go in. So a little change to the vibe. So to light Shabbat candles tonight, I would love for the two people who have been helping me probably some of the most, at least that are still here today, since I've been gone on maternity leave and have finally come back. So Razi and Cheryl, my mother-in-law and aunt-in-law, my family, if you guys will light Shabbat candles for us. And then Jess will lead the prayer. So just each of you do a candle. All right, and we'll join with Jess.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you both. Shabbat shalom. So we will, oh yes, kisses, kisses.
There you go.
So we will, I'll sneak ahead a little bit here, but we will make our way into the chapel for services. If you'd like to light your Shabbat candles on the way in, please do so. We'll be singing Shalom Aleichem. We'll be praying the words Shalom Aleichem, welcoming the Sabbath angels. Page 142.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Neshalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bachuni Leshalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzidkem Leshalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Lai lai.
Lai 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 lai
So welcome, welcome. As folks keep making their way in, a reminder, don't take the siddur from the seat in front of you. Take it from your chair. Because if you take it from the seat in front of you, our friends in the front row will be missing a prayer book. And friends joining us online, welcome to Shabbat Services this evening. Again, we'll be using Mishkan Tefillah, which can be found behind your chair. Take a second. You all came in the same door. We also have another door over there if you need to step out for a moment. If everybody could take a second, turn off those Apple Watches, turn off those phone alarms, anything that's going to distract you in the next hour, just silence it so you can be fully present with us for services. If you haven't seen me in a while, I'm still Rabbi Rachel, leading services with our cantorial soloist, Jessica Tillam. Everybody, please take a second, turn to a neighbor, preferably somebody you didn't drive here with, introduce yourself, say Shabbat Shalom, and we'll come back together. All right, friends, before we welcome the Sabbath bride, I want us to take a second to fully feel ourselves in the space. So perhaps you want to flutter your eyes closed, sit back in your chair, or feel your feet on the floor. This is the first Shabbat of 2024. Lots of moving pieces to the week, moving into the new year. And now we just get to be present for Shabbat. And so let's take some deep breaths together to enter the space. Deep breath in. Let it out. Another deep breath. Let it out. This final breath helping us to enter Shabbat. Deep breath in and let it out. If your eyes were closed, I invite you to flutter them open. We turn to page 138, welcoming that Sabbath bride, L'chadodi.
L'chadodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, hishmi'anu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'letfilah. L'chadodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nilcha, ki hi makor habracha. Merosh mikidem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. L'chadodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela.
We rise and face the door.
Boi v'shalom ateret ba we chala.
We face forward.
Lecha dodi, lecha dodi nikrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi nikrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
We remain standing. Our call to worship, Baruch Hu, page 146.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
We turn to the back inside cover of our prayer books, welcoming on the evening roll into dark.
Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshet, golel or mipnei choshet, v'choshet mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night.
Page 152, we stand tall and proud of our identity, declaring God's oneness, Shema, together.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed.
Please be seated. I don't know if it's the lack of sleep or just the transcendence of everybody's voice. It sounds so good in here. I don't know about you, but I went somewhere else. Very spiritual in that moment. You guys sound amazing. So, friends, we turn to page 154. Words of Ve'ahavta, this reminder of the ways in which we can love God and the importance of keeping God at the forefront of our minds and in the actions that we do, each step that we take, having that thought to do something holy, to be holy, to bring that little piece of God into our world. So together we'll chant 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meotecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh
Asher Anochi Mitzavecha Hayom Al Levavecha Veshinantam Levanecha Vedibarta Bam Beshivtecha Beveitecha Ulechtecha Vaderech Ushochtecha Ukumecha Ukshartam Neot Al Yadecha V'hayu letotafot beineinecha Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha Uvisharecha Leman tizkeru V'asitem et kol mitzvotai V'yitem kedoshim le'olechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
Amen. As we prepare for words of Michamocha, we pray responsively the bottom of page 157. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered at Sinai. We bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. And though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. These words of Michamocha 158.
Yada lai 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 lai. Yada lai 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 lai. Yada lai 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 lai. Yada lai 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 lai. Michamocha b'nim Adonai. Michamocha nedar v'kodesh. Nora tehilot osefelet osefelet. Malchutecha ra'u v'necha. Bokeh yom lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Malchutecha ra'u v'necha. Bokeh yom lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Zeili panu ve'amru Adonai imloch le'olam le'olam va'ed. Yada lai 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 lai. Yada lai 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 lai. Yada lai 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 lai. Yada lai 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 lai. ונאמר כי פד אדוני יד יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Here we go. ידה לי 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 לי. ידה לי 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 לי. ידה לי 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 לי. ידה לי 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 לי.
Page 160, we have Hashkivenu. I'll invite us to pray these words in English tonight, followed by the Chatima, the prayer at the bottom. So we'll join together from Grant. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, Hapores Sukkot Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael, Ve'al Yerushalayim. And with that peace that we pray for, we soak it in and we try to sit with it, especially these next 24, 25 hours, that the Shabbat vitamins, the holy vitamins that we get that renew us to be able to do the holy work we need to do. That's why we take that time on Shabbat. Our prayer for Shabbat, Vishamru 162.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam, oti leolam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam berit olam. Ki sheishet yamim asa Adonai et hashemayim ve'et haaretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam berit olam.
So my last day of work before maternity leave was October 7th. Yeah. More specifically, my maternity leave began after Torah study that morning, which was also the day of Simchat Torah. And we were all on a high from the celebration of the night before. And then when we woke up, we had the news of an attack occurring in Israel. By 9 a.m., when Torah study began, the news reported only 100 or so deaths. This was already a shocking number. And we knew this number was going to climb. How high, we did not truly know for many weeks. Instead, that morning we were left to study and to pray that it wasn't as bad as our imaginations may have wandered or wondered. Now today, we know it was worse than anything we could have imagined. And today is January 5th. But for me, it's still, maybe for you too, it's still 90 days since October 7th. Yet that baby that I carried around nine days later, it made its entry. Supposedly that was on October 16th. But it still felt like 9 days after October 7th. And I spent pretty much all day, every day with him until I came back to the office on Wednesday, January 3rd. And yet it was still 88 days since October 7th. Together, Ozzy and I listened to I-24 News, English language-based Israeli news, every day. We took pictures, too, together every Monday as his weekly age changed. I was counting up the number of weeks old, 1 week, 2 week old, 3 weeks old. And yet, simultaneously, I woke up each morning, and though I was far from Israel, it was still October 7th. And I thought of that baby, Kfir Bibas, the 10-month-old baby who will be turning 1 year old this month, probably in captivity. And on the actual October 7th, the morning of Torah study, we finished the last words of our Torah scroll. And today, I'm back with our community ready to read the first Torah portion in the book of Exodus, which I decided means that makes the book of Genesis the modern day maternity leave. Okay. So in Exodus, in Shmot, our Torah portion this week, we read for the first time the phrase Am B'nai Yisrael. The first time that Am is used in reference to the Israelites. Am B'nai Yisrael, the people of the children of Israel. However, it isn't an Israelite who uses the term. Rather, it's the new Pharaoh who uses the phrase. The text goes like this. A new king, aka Pharaoh, arose over Egypt who did not know Joseph. And he said to his people, look, Am B'nai Yisrael, the Israelite people, they are much too numerous for us. And we know too well that countless evil people have held and continue to hold that sentiment today. And as everybody in this chapel knows, we aren't too numerous. How can we be at just 0.02% of the world population? In Torah times, the Egyptians, they feared our numbers. Throughout the millennia, this trend continued. Too numerous for the Babylonians in 586 BCE. Too numerous for the Romans in 72 CE. The Spaniards in 1492. And Europeans in the 1930s and 40s. 0.02% of the world population today. And we are still too numerous to those who continue to dismiss our existence and our right to self-determination in our historic homeland. And while Pharaoh refers to the Israelites as an Am to justify his mass murder, God is the next entity to refer to the Israelites as an Am, and uses the description to extend God's blessing to the Israelites. God uses the phrase Ami V'nei Yisrael. Speaking to Moses at the famous scene of the burning bush, God says, come, therefore, I will send you to Pharaoh, and you shall free Ami V'nei Yisrael. You shall free my people, the Israelites, from Egypt. I believe that the resiliency of the Jewish people is directly linked to such a phrase in our sacred text. In every place, in every age that our enemies first sought our destruction, God then extended God's blessing and protection. We are God's people. We may be small in number, but we are a mighty force. And perhaps with the help of God, or at least our faith or belief in something bigger than ourselves, we, the Jewish people, have survived the pharaohs of every generation. Fast forward from Torah times to the 1960s, and it's not the phrase Am B'nai Yisrael or Ami V'nei Yisrael that acts as an anthem of the Jewish people. 2 decades after the Holocaust, and our anthem, only second to Hatikva, is Am Yisrael Chai. The Jewish people live. In 1965, the founder of the student struggle for Soviet Jewry, Jacob Birnbaum, he reached out to the rabbi and musician Shlomo Carlebach in search of a rally song. Now, while Carlebach's reputation has posthumously been diminished due to accusations of sexual abuse, his melodies, sometimes controversially, have continued to ring out from Jewish communities. And Am Yisrael Chai is at the top of the list of songs that have transcended controversy. And the phrase is said to have originally been heard on April 20th, 1945, after the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp was liberated. A British Army chaplain by the name of Rabbi Leslie Hardman, he cried out at that camp, Am Yisrael Chai, the Jewish people live. Golda Meir was greeted at the Great Synagogue in Moscow with people chanting the phrase in 1948, Am Yisrael Chai. The phrase has been sung during the Six-Day War, the Yom Kippur War. In today's Hamas war, we continue to call out, Israel Chai, the Jewish people live. From the land of Israel to Washington, D.C., when nearly 300,000 people gathered for the rally for Israel on November 15th, 39 days since October 7th, the message was loud and clear. Am Yisrael Chai. And I carry this message with me each day as I wear the bracelet. You can get one out there. The bracelet that we here at Temple Emanu-El are distributing with the words, bring them home, and Am Yisrael Chai. Because each day I wake up or I go to bed and I post on social media a video of nearly 300,000 people in D.C. singing Hatikva, singing our national anthem of the Jewish people because the Jewish people live. Each day, I also post a video of the Jewish prayer calling for the return of our captives because we Jews, we value life over everything. That is why we call out Am Yisrael Chai. We are 90 days since October 7th. Please, please, please don't fatigue. Continue to keep Israel in the forefront of your mind. Continue to live proudly as Jews here in Atlanta. Continue to talk about the hostages and hold them in your prayers and in your hearts. And when the modern day pharaohs of the world say that we are too numerous, we respond, Am Yisrael Chai.
Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai. Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai. Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai. Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael 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 Chai. Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai. Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai. Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai. Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai.
Page 164. We continue in our service, connecting us to those ancestors from the land of Israel, to generations past, generations yet to be. We rise for our Amidah, page 164.
Adonai, sifatai tiftachu fi agita gilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham Ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol atah Rav LaHoshia. Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umechayim Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umido Melach, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יעלוך סלה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue in silent prayer with the words of our Siddur, or the prayers of your heart. When you have completed those prayers, I invite you to please be seated.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam.
Page 178.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon lachol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lachol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
Friends, it is, I feel like this is out of order. Do we usually do Shechianu next or announcements next? Announcements, then Shechianu? I put it wrong. I had Jackie down. Are you doing it? Yes. Okay. I would like to invite forward co-president of Temple Emanu-El, Bill Keller, to share with some announcements, and then we do our Shechianu. So this was just a chance for you to start thinking about the good things. Yes. It's been a minute.
Good Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's wonderful to see you all and be able to celebrate Shabbat together again. And a good Shabbos to those of you online who wish you were here. And thank you to all of you who volunteer your time to help make ours the wonderful community it is. We have so many activities and classes going on here. However, there are two events I want to point out. Next Friday, January 12th, will be an extremely important Georgia Legislative and Martin Luther King Jr. Shabbat. We'll be hosting several dozen elected officials, mostly from the Georgia State Legislature, for a Shabbat dinner and services. This is our opportunity to let them know what we're feeling and experiencing, discuss the impact of the immense rise of anti-Semitism, and convey the need to support and pass House Bill 30, the anti-Semitism bill. We need a large turnout. I hope we can count on you. I just heard, though, that the dinner has been sold out, but services are still an
Not sold
option
out.
for everyone. And there will be plenty more Shabbat dinners during the year, so make sure when they're announced that you get your RSVPs in quickly. The second item, on Thursday, January 18th, 7 o'clock, Scott Abramson with the Center for Israel Education will be here to present a discussion entitled Israeli Intelligence Failures and the Case of October 7th. For this and all other programs, please be sure to refer to your emails and our website for details and registration.
Would that be on Zoom as well?
I did not see that it's on Zoom.
I just got back. I don't remember.
You just got,
I'll find out, though.
well, ask Marina and it'll be on the website. But good question. Did you know 75 years ago today, in 1948, Warner Brothers offered the first color newsreel covering the Tournament of Roses parade and the Rose Bowl game. At that time, the company was still the property of the four brothers named Warner: Harry, Albert, Sam, and Jack, Polish Jews who came to the United States via Canada. And unfortunately, Alabama didn't win that game either. It was Michigan. If you're a new member, prospective member, or just visiting, we'd appreciate it if you would introduce yourself to the rabbis and Jessica and myself during the oneg so we can personally welcome you if we've not already done so. Thank you. Bring them home. And Shabbat Shalom.
Roll Tide. Roll Tide.
Shabbat shalom. Thank
Want me to
Oh, would you like to do it? Please. So, friends, please take a second. When you tell us that you want to do it, stand up, share your name and the thing that is good. For example, Rabbi Rachel, and it's really good to be back. It was really nice to have that special time with Ozzy, and I so appreciated all the outreach from the community in the most appropriate and wonderful ways. Thank you for that and all of your support. And so it is good to be back and still with the village. So thank you guys.
Marvin Goldstein. Got two good things happening. My granddaughter got 2 acceptances so far from the University of Alabama and University of South Carolina. The second really neat thing is in a couple hours I'll reach the big 8-0.
Oh, happy early birthday.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nora Florsheim, and I just want to tell Wendy Dubin, you were awesome last night, and for those of you that weren't there, she did a fabulous presentation about resilience and trauma.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Reese Bashik. This happened a few months ago. I haven't been here until now to say it, but I got into UGA, my first choice of college, so I'm very happy about that. Go Dogs.
Here we go.
Hello, I'm Harriet Trackman, and I came tonight in support of Rabbi Rachel, but also because it's my birthday today.
Yes, happy birthday.
What's that? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm Jocelyn, and next Tuesday I turn 11.
Ooh, birthday coming up. Okay. All right. Anything?
I'm just so excited to be sharing the Bima with Rabbi Rachel again.
Woohoo! All right, friends. So for all of these things, we share our thanks by thanking God for reaching this moment in time. Shechianu 648.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Ah, ah, ah.
this next part of our service, this brief prayer, it involves that little prayer sheet. So either you got one or your neighbor did. Take a peek at it. I'll be honest. So when I was watching the rally in D.C., I sat. I was just holding a baby, so I sat there for the whole 3-4 hour thing, and they started singing this particular piece, and I'm sitting there, and I'm I'm starting to feel very moved by it, and I'm looking out at the camera angles and the way people are saying the words, and I'm trying to figure out if this is a modern Israeli song or what's going on, and because it just wasn't a prayer that was that familiar to me. And so I'm texting Max. I'm like, "Are you watching?" "Yes, I'm watching." Is this liturgy?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "What is this?" Because I guess I had missed the introduction to what it was. And then I went down the rabbit hole of looking into this prayer. And I know Rabbi Max he's done some preaching about and teaching about this prayer. So I won't go into all the nitty-gritty details. But the point is, this prayer has been around since the Jews have been praying from prayer books. Okay, we've had this prayer for a very long time, which is a recognition that we've needed a prayer for the captive for a very long time. And this is one of the first times in my life, certainly the first time in my life, that I'm aware enough to sit in this prayer, to be present with this prayer, and for our people to have a need for this prayer. And the melody is the same one that they sang at the rally is the one we're doing this evening, and it pulls at the heartstrings. So whether or not you've been following my Instagram page and have come to learn it from me posting it every day, or this is your first time hearing it, you can follow along in the Hebrew, of course, because I've put it here, but pay attention to what the English is, what the translation is, of how we are praying for the return of our hostages, because Am Yisrael Chai, the Jewish people live, because life is so important to us.
Achenu kol Beit Yisrael, Achenu kol Beit Yisrael, Hanatuni batzara uvshivya, haomdim ben bayam uvein bayabasha. That again. Achenu kol Beit Yisrael, Achenu kol Beit Yisrael, Hanatuni batzara ushivya, haomdim ben bayam uvein bayabasha. Amakom yirachem aleihem beyotziei mitzara liravacha, hamakvel al yora umishibu legula, hashta bagala ubizman kariv. Hamakom yirachem aleihem yotziei mitzara lirevacha umifala leora umishibu legula, hashta bagala ubizman karim.
And friends, we turn now back into our prayer books to page 371. In the middle of the page, you'll find words of Mishaberach as we pray for healing of mind, body, spirit, relationship. We are, especially at this time, thinking and praying for the healing of Rob Gilbert, Brenda Grazier, Charlie Cohn, David Blass, Kaska Mishkogi, Aaron Silverman, Diane Cohen, Leslie Greenberg, Jeffrey Syme, Marsha Haller, Libby Pollock, Ken Schiffer, Karnina Michal Bat Yitzhak Vatova, Jennifer Herman, Mark Lodinger, Jesse McCausland, Max Krohn, Yehudit Bat Yocheved, Aaron Ben Batya, Ellen Lichtman, Stanley Apple, James Lipsky, Herbert Germanic, and Jeffrey Crispo. If you are praying for someone at this time, I invite you to share that name as My Eyes Meet Yours. Thank you. 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 We will rise, and if your neighbor's comfortable with it, wrap an arm around the other, joining together in this prayer. Standing and turn to page 123. If you are under the age of bar or bat mitzvah, I see a couple of you around today, this evening, come on up. Come on, Brock, Joel. Herds. Somebody was hiding in the back too. Perfect. And we will join with Jess.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav l'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'yahava uvratzon yinkilanu Zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit ki hu yom tehila l'mikra'e kodesh zecher l'tziyat Mitzrayim ki banu bacharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat Be'ava uvratzon inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen.
Delicious. All right. I was going to say, you know not to go anywhere. Okay, perfect. So, my friends, come up to our ark here. 586, page 586, we begin to conclude our service with Aleinu L'Shabeach. Joe, go get the other side.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol l'teit gedula liotzer b'reshit shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot velo samanu k'mizbechot ha'adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam V'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim Elohim HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'nemar V'haya Adonai L'melech al kol haaretz Bayom hahu Yeh Adonai echad Ushemo echad.
Close the ark. There's pads. We're good. Please be seated. Thank you. You're all good. And like every time we gather at the end of our service, we remember those who have died in recent days or in seasons past. We're in a period of Shloshim, remembering Susan Jacobs and Harvey Apple, and Yartzites for Abigail Alush, Ina Bashik, Edward Bashik, Sylvia Berman, Becky Burns, Alfred Braun, Louise Brent, Harriet Broda, Sylvia Brownstein, Bernice Cutler, Maxine Deutsch, Sarah Dubin, Catherine Eicher, Frank Elkin, Sylvia Feldman, Aaron Friedman, Arthur Fruchtman, Rose Goldsmith, Gilda Jacobson, Ann K. Katz, Eleanor Katz, Michael Kramer, Martha Letterman, Lena Lindenbaum, Emanu-El Nathan Lubin, Steve Marcus, Martha Miller, Morris Mazescu, Josephine Weinberg-Needle, Wes Ogden, Raymond Pedersen, Alfred Schiff, Morton Schwartzman, Alvin Schoenig, Eileen Ray Tepper, Adele Tompkins, William Walpert, and Larry Wilner. If there is a name I accidentally skipped or mispronounced, I invite you to share that name at this time. If you are in the first 30 days mourning the loss of a loved one, I invite you to rise so we can recognize you. If you're in the first year, Yud Bet, mourning the loss of a loved one, I invite you to rise so we may recognize you. If this Shabbat you are commemorating a Yartzeit, a death anniversary of a loved one, please rise so we can recognize you. And if it is your custom to rise for Mourner's Kaddish, as it is here at Temple Emanu-El, we invite you to do so now. The words of Kaddish Yatom are found on page 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach hiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chaye echon uvyom echon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach leolam u'omei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei kedusha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata damiran ve'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mramav u'yasei shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Osei shalom b'mromav, u'yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. 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 Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai. Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai. Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai. Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai.
We do a little walla to our chala. Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, everyone. You don't really want to. No? Just a little.